Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am Dr. Chanel T. Smith. I am a doctoral strategist, and I help doctoral students graduate faster so that they can become doctor sooner. I'm so excited today because this is the first of many client success interviews that I get to do. And today we will hear from none other than future Dr. Whitney Bond. Yeah, I said it like that. It's one thing to see the posts and the live streams and all of that I do, and another way, an even more powerful way, to hear the success stories from doctoral students in the trenches, just like you. So, Whitney, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course, of
I
course.
just have a couple of questions. Can you begin by telling us who you are
Mhm.
and in what field you are getting your doctorate?
Yes. Well, good afternoon, everyone, if you're in the US, and if not, good evening and good morning. Yes, my name is Whitney Bond. I am a PhD student, fifth year at Chicago Theological Seminary in the field of theology, ethics, and the human sciences. And my research is centered around womanism and Black queer experiences for people of faith. Um, so practical theology, womanist thought, ethnography, queer theory, all of that.
All of
That's
that.
kind of my lane.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of lanes that you beautifully merge because I
Thank
love
you.
hearing about your story, and the research that you're doing is really, really important. But I'm not going to put it out there because we need to protect that work.
We need to protect that. Thank you.
Yes. So, Whitney, tell us your why. Why did you decide to get a doctorate? Who or what are you trying to help? And why is it so important to you?
I always think that question is funny whenever I get it because Whitney never wanted to pursue a doctoral degree. My undergraduate degree from Spelman is in drama and dance. And so when I planned my life back then, I was planning to be in California, bi-coastal between LA and New York, acting. So my terminal degree would have been an MFA. And that was just not how the cards fell out at all. And so I got a call literally to seminary. I woke up from a nap that I was taking August 6th of 2013.
Wow.
And in the dream, and whenever it's time for me to like move or shift, I always have very, very, very clear dreams. And so that's why the dream shook me so much because it was so like tangible that I was like, but I don't want to go to seminary. That does not sound like my cup of
Mhm.
tea. Um, no, I want an MFA. That's what I want. And so I woke up from the dream, and in the dream, I was preaching the closing ceremony of my family reunion. And I had an aunt and a cousin who both asked me, "So what are you doing these days?" And I, in the dream, said, "I'm getting my Master of Divinity from Candler School of Theology at Emory University."
And
Um,
wow.
and I was like, so when I woke up, I remember sitting on the edge of my bed because I was at my mama's house, and I was just like,
I don't
seminary.
want to do
That's
that.
I don't want to do. Like literally, I was telling I don't want to stay home in St. Louis, but I also don't want to go to seminary. So can we like find just a little happy medium? And so, make a long story short, that was August 6th, and by the 25th or 26th, I'd already been back to Atlanta to help my cousin get situated for her junior year at Spelman. And so I ended up going up to campus at Emory to visit some friends who had known about the dream and applied on the spot for the class of 2016. So they admitted me the week of orientation, and I had to pack up my car and my room at my mama's house and yeah, get to Atlanta that Friday because classes were officially starting that Tuesday. It was going into Labor Day weekend. And so I got to Candler and I was just like, what is this? Like, this is not Sunday school. This is not Bible study. And how do they already like know some of this information? Like I didn't get this in a handbook or anything. And so to speed this story of the second semester of my first year, because I was on probation my first semester. I knew that I was supposed to be there, but I was a functioning depressed person. And I didn't see why I was there. And so ancestor, Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon, taught a
Mhm.
J-term course my second semester of my first year. And she was the first person that told me and gave me permission to really explore embodiment and sexuality from a theological standpoint and a spiritual standpoint. And so from there, I began, like, if I could, writing all of my papers with that lens. So much so that I ended up presenting at AAR my second year of my MDiv program, which is something that is typically not done. And so I got to see, the various fields out there. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Right. And that is
Right.
gaining clarity. Gaining
Hmm.
clarity. And as soon as you're able to see, like, kind of like the light bulb go off with all of the lenses that you like, and then you find the topic or the subject or the text that
Hmm.
it is a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And you didn't have that much time to discern whether or not you were going to seminary.
I literally, and that was the other thing. I was like, I literally have no other option. Either I'm going to stay home and be miserable, or I'm going to really jump out on faith and say, okay, now I feel like this is where you're leading me. Don't play me. Like,
Right.
don't. And so after that, I just started writing my papers all about that. But even still, I thought that the MDiv was the end of my journey. And so the final semester, the final year of the program, everybody's applying to like 5 and 7 different programs. And I was like, first of all, I think that's crazy to apply to. So I get trying to put all of your seeds everywhere. But I was just like, I'm not even feeling called to that many institutions. And so
Right.
again, I had a conversation with Dr. Cannon because AER was in Atlanta that year. And we sat down and talked for about 2.5 hours at the hotel. And she really helped me, like, to narrow in, like, clear cut on 2 schools. And honestly, it was really only one, and it's the school that I'm a student at now. The other institution, there were just so many cons. Like, there were some good pros, but there were too many cons to where I
Yeah.
was like, I couldn't in good conscience just say, sure, I'll go there. And so much so, I never finished my application. And like 6 weeks later, they were like, yeah, we know that the deadline has passed, but if you're interested, you can still, complete the fellowship application, your actual doctoral application. And I never even responded. And so,
Wow. So how did this happen?
I just applied to CTS. And when I say I put all of my eggs into one basket, it was all of my eggs into one basket. But when I started going back, of course, after I got accepted, I was thinking about my educational journey. And it's been like that. For my MDiv program, I only applied to one school. When it came to undergrad, it was only Spelman. And so I was like, okay, well, at least I have a track record that,
But you know what? You have to give yourself some more credit, because you talk about not really knowing what you're going to do until the end, but you trusted your instinct. You trusted
hmm
the spirit talking within you, right?
yeah.
And God said go, and you went.
Yeah. And it
And
was
you
really
had
because I had no other
success.
option. There really, whenever things happen like this, the options are so, like, it's either this or that. And that is always like, oh, I don't want that at all. So I don't want this either, but this looks a little better than that. And
Yeah.
so got to CTS, and I've tried to run away from talking about the faith experiences of Black queer people, and just could not shake it. When I started going back to AAR papers that I'd written, they were all centered around our faith experiences. And then I started realizing that people were, like, paying attention to what I was publicly talking about. And when I say publicly talking about, I'm just talking about like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, nothing concrete, like writing an article or anything like that. I literally just did my first public article about 6 weeks ago
But
through Medium.
you reach more people that way, right? It's not always about, what your CV, how padded it is, or how many
Exactly, exactly.
articles, or how many books. If your work is not accessible, it doesn't matter what you publish.
Right.
Right, and so that's one of the things that when I published my first book, I actually emailed the publisher and I was like, do you have a In Other Words series? Because
Hmm.
it was like my mama and them, they can read it, but it was like, what are
Yes.
you talking about?
Right.
And so I get that. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's published, if it's peer reviewed, if it's all of that, as long as it is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was important to me. Now, granted, yeah, you do have to make sure you have your publications if you want to be a faculty member. I get that. But your story is clear. It's not about, how many presentations you did at AAR,
Right.
but you reaching people
Yeah.
by telling your story, and that relates to your why.
Yeah, it really does, because I know that I am in the academy, but I'm really doing work for people who are outside and who will never have access to it.
Yeah.
So I've jokingly said, y'all need to put my granny on this dissertation committee, because the questions that she asked me, like, you got to get real focused and real clear really fast. Baby, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
Now, what are you saying? I don't have time for the 5 and 6 syllable words. Like, I need to get straight to the point and make it accessible to everyday people. And
Yeah,
so that's my why. Because there are people who are coming behind me. And a part of that social media world that I'm in is that when we publicly tell our stories, people find a level of connection with that. And so the amount of DMs that I receive on Twitter and Instagram, from people that we've never met, and they're like, I was ready to walk away from church. I was ready to walk away from God. I was ready to, commit suicide, like all of these things, right? And they're like, somebody sent your page to me. And so those things, that's what's really holding me, because I know that they're like hungry for something that's making sense, where they still feel like they are loved by God, where theologically it is sound. It is not like I'm just pulling it out of thin air. It's grounded in theory. It's grounded in good research. And so they're looking for that without all of the pomp and circumstance that a lot of scholars sometimes are like, well, it's in my book. You get what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
Which many people won't read.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much. I'm trying my best not to just engage with you. I'm like, let Whitney have her time, right? But you are hitting so many nails on the head for me. So tell us, what transformation has happened in your doctoral program and your life since you decided to invest in yourself?
Yeah. So last summer, that was it. I was walking away. I was like, I don't care what Sally Mae says. I don't care what Navient says. I am walking away from this program. I had so many negative thoughts about myself, about my research, because while I knew that it was needed, I didn't think that I had the necessary support that I needed to accomplish my next steps. And so, um, Reverend Dr. Melva Sampson was like, have you talked to Chanel? And I was like, Dr. Smith, I mean, yeah, we talk every once in a while. She checks in. And she was like, no, you need to call her. And literally, I think I sent you a message or something. And within a few days, we talked, and I had my dissertation topic after that conversation. And I said, now, I'm not
It
sure.
wasn't in you. You have to
And
give
that was
yourself credit. It was in you. I just asked the prompting questions to get it out.
had like 7 dissertation projects within me, and she helped me to see, okay, so what's the one right now. And so from there, I mean, everything just kind of like came out like lava. It was just flowing. Yeah, that was just that program of study, working with you for those concentrated 90 days. I didn't know how I was going to get it together, but you had me on such a rhythm where it didn't feel like a rhythm, because I also don't like when I feel like somebody is putting me under a timeline. But you were able to, like, I mean, that's that fiery Aries nature within me. Like, I want to be on my own schedule. But you will often say, what is your deadline? When do you want to have this in? When do you want to have this accomplished? And I would write those dates down. I said I wanted my program of study to be approved by February of this year, when they went to their first faculty meeting, and that's exactly what happened. And that's why I'm working with you again. Like, because the results are just, you can't deny them. I was talking with Chelsea about you the other day, and I was just like, this is a true gift that you have, to see how doctoral students can sometimes get lost, even when they have a supportive advisor and community. the further along you go, the more isolating the process is. And because we're in it alone, sometimes our questions just overpower us and we can't even see that the answer is right there in front of us.
Right. Or within you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always say, working with doctoral, it's definitely a passion of mine. When I did my program, when I first started, my son was 6 months old. And then when I graduated, my second son was 8 months old.
Mm.
But like I didn't have weekends. I only had the 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 5, which were childcare hours. And I
Mm-hmm.
had, supportive husband and mother and family. That's how I got through, right? It's about having that accountability network, but
Right.
also about pushing students, pushing you and like, future Dr. Yarborough, right?
Yeah.
To realize the potential within yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is very isolating, just like you said, especially after coursework. You can forget it.
Especially after coursework. Yeah.
Yes. But all you needed was someone to just journey along with you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and to push you, but you did the work.
Mm-hmm.
You did the heavy lifting, and it was such an honor to, and still is, to be able to journey with you because my brain doesn't shut off.
Yeah.
I tell
It
people
doesn't.
it is a blessing and a curse because
Mm-hmm.
even in the classroom, it's like, oh yeah, that's good. What about this? What about that? Now think about me trying to relax,
Yeah.
right?
You.
So,
Yeah.
right. So, I mean, I just wanted the world, all of you out there, to hear the success stories from Whitney, because you can do the same thing, right? And your transformation. I mean, I remember our first conversation where you were just like, I
All
want
over
to
the
do this and
place.
I want to do this, but I don't know. I was like, you know what? And you said, but I know it doesn't sound like I'm making sense. Yes, it does. You have a lot of great ideas, but your dissertation is one assignment.
Right.
You can put all of those other great ideas on hold until you get minted, and then you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But your dissertation is one assignment, not your magnum opus, not your life's work. And I
Right.
said, choose one.
Yeah. Just
And
choose
you
one.
got in, you get it, and now you are writing. And then about to, do comp exams as well. You are on your way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just very, very happy to be on this journey with you. So thank you for inviting me on it with you.
Listen.
So I just have one more question for you.
Okay.
So given all the lessons that you've learned,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is the number one tip or piece of advice that you would give other doctoral students to help them flourish in their programs?
Open your mouth when you have a need. I mean, even just talking about it, like my eyes are starting to water.
Don't start
Be,
with, see,
I know, but I mean, and people told me that before I got into the program. You have a large community. Like we've been through doctoral programs. There's somebody, you got Black women, and I never wanted to feel like I was nagging people or being extra needy because I already have an advisor, and but sometimes you need just additional support. Like there's nothing wrong, you just need additional support. And so I really learned that lesson like 3 weeks ago when I sat down and I was like, I have this balance of tuition due, and it crippled my mind trying to figure out how I was going to pay for it, because I knew that I couldn't sit for comprehensive exams if I still had a balance. So then I was like, I don't even want to write right now because I need to figure out how to get this balance paid. And literally, once I made that public, clarion call that I had this need, the floodgates just literally opened. And I was like, God, if it took me like putting my pride aside, because that was a lot of it. Like I knew that I needed help, but I didn't want people to know that I needed help on a public basis. Like, can I just send this out to like 5 people and then we just handle it? But because of that, so many other things have happened. And so just to circle that back to your question, in terms of coursework, language exams, just saying like, I've come to the realization now I've never been a PhD student before. Yes, I've been a student the majority of my life, but as a doctoral student, this is my first time. So some things I just won't know, and that is okay. So
right,
say, hey, When it came time to complete your languages, how did you do it versus reading? Like I've told you before, reading our PhD handbook and what actually happens in real life, it's not always on the same page. And so if I'm sticking to myself and not asking anybody how they got through the process and the program and only relying on this handbook, one, I can be wasting time because the handbook is written in a way that it's not in real life. And when we're in a pandemic, like there are just so many things that, yes, the information is there, but how to actually apply it,
Mm-hmm.
you need somebody else who has gone before you and to say, okay, tell me everything you've already accomplished, what's left. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. And that really just comes from just saying, hey, I'm drowning. I am drowning right now and I need some help.
Open your mouth. That is the
Mm-hmm.
word. And it's ironic because doctoral students, don't ask the questions that they need because they feel as though they should already have the answers to those
Exactly.
questions. So they don't ask the question because they should know the answer. It's a vicious
A
cycle.
cycle. Yeah.
And like you said, with the institutional guidelines for a doctoral program, it is only a list of things that you need to do, but they don't tell you how to
How?
do it.
Mm-hmm. Just the
So always
requirements.
open your mouth. Every client that I talk to always tells me, what their primary struggles are, what have you. And then they say, I know, it sounds, I said, you know how many times I've heard this? Like, you are not the only one. Just know everyone is faking it. If they feel like, or is appearing like they just have it all together,
Right.
often than not,
Faking it.
faking it.
Yeah.
So everyone, you have heard words of wisdom here, right? If you have a need, if you have a question, ask it. Get
Yeah.
the help you need. And I'm glad you say it because I say it all the time in my
Yeah.
posts and my live streams, but I'm like, I need someone else. And I didn't prompt you to say that or anything, so I'm glad that
No.
you did it.
No, seriously. I mean, from before I even started the program and people knew that I had been accepted, even when I was at FTE that first year, and I hadn't started my program, they were like, we're here for you. We have a large network of educators, and you hear all of that. But
Yes.
you're in coursework and everything is light and fluffy and rainbow and sunshine. And then one day you look up and you're like, wait, when did I get here? And okay, I am confused. But again, you're a doctoral student, so you feel like you should already know the answer. So I'm just going to try to figure it out on my own. And figuring it out on my own almost had me leaving my program.
And I'm glad you mentioned that in terms of, especially, I'm a product of the Forum for Theological Exploration, or FTE. I know for a fact that when mentors or faculty members from FTE, when they say, I'm here for you to
They
call,
mean it.
they mean it. Even when, like you said, it happened to me too. Time goes by, you're like, well, I haven't talked to them in so long. They're gonna be like, who is this person? They mean it,
Yeah.
right? So take them up on it.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you, Whitney.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much for
I was
taking
like, we could talk about this all day,
I
literally.
know, I
Yeah.
know, and I would love to continue doing that too. Um, it's just really been an honor being a part of your journey, and so I cannot wait to see what you're going to do with this project. Listen, future Dr. Whitney Bond, remember that name. Will. So for those of you who are wondering if you can have that kind of success that Whitney has, yes, you can. It's not just for a select few. It isn't.
Yeah.
But you got to be coachable. You got to know the importance of self-investment,
Yeah.
and you got to be ready to do things differently so that you can have better results.
Hmm.
If you can do those three things, then I want to talk to you. I definitely want to talk to you. Master students and faculty people as well. I've worked with you. You have been my clients. What we'll do is, I want to offer you to call and schedule a free breakthrough session, right? As I always say, we need to figure out if we're a good fit, right? I
Right.
don't know if I can help you. You don't know if you want to work with me. So I don't believe it's unethical to me to charge any money. So on that call, I want to hear about your primary struggles, if any. I want to hear about your goals. I also want to see if and how I can help you, and to talk about any of my professional recommendation for next best steps. And that is it. You can have this success. And so I invite you to book a call. You can use the link that's in the description of this video or send me a private message. And I have a few slots available this week, so I look forward to hearing from you. So thank you again, future Dr. Whitney Bond.
Thank you, Dr. Chanel Smith.
Yes, for taking the time to share your journey with us. And for those of you who are here, listen, open your mouth and ask for the help that you need. I'm Dr. Chanel T. Smith, and this is one of many client success interviews. Take care and be safe.